So one of you basically wrote the outline for this whole video, and I've been sitting on it for weeks. AM, you said something that stuck with me. You said the Internet of Things is quietly turning into the economy of things. And then you asked me to line 5 projects up, side by side. XYO, IoTeX, IOTA, PEAQ, and Constellation's DOR. And look, everybody wants the same thing when they ask this. Just tell me which one wins. Which one do you hold? And I'm not going to do that. Not because I'm dodging you, but because once you actually map these 5 out, you realize they're not 5 horses in one race. They're 5 floors of the same building. So today, instead of handing you a winner, I'm going to hand you the map. Let's build it. So let's start with the phrase itself, because it matters. The economy of things didn't come out of crypto. IBM was writing about it back around 2015. And the idea is simple, but kind of wild when it lands. Your car, a delivery robot, a little weather sensor on somebody's roof. These stop being dumb gadgets and start being economic actors. They earn, they spend, they pay each other. No human tapping a screen anywhere in the loop. Now, the crypto rails underneath that idea got their name later. A research shop called Masari looked at this whole category of tokens paying real hardware to do real work. And back in 2023, they christened it DPIN, Decentralized Physical Infrastructure. Clunky name, right? But it stuck. And here's the number that makes people sit up. Masari and the World Economic Forum, not 2 hype accounts, both peg this market at around $3.5 trillion by 2028. There are already more than 650 of these projects, and something like 9 million devices plugged in and earning right now. So this is not a thought experiment anymore. But here's the frame I want you to hold, because it's the whole video. For a machine to do business on its own, it has to nail 4 things. Prove where it is, prove who it is, prove the data it's throwing off is actually true, and be able to get paid. Where, who, what's true, and settlement. Hold on to those 4, because every one of AM's 5 projects is really just obsessing over a different one of them. Now, 3 of these 5 I've already done full deep dives on, so I'll link those below. But a lot has moved in 2026, so quick check-in on each. XYO, that's the where, proof of location. And the big news is they finally shipped their own blockchain, XYO Layer 1, went live back in September. Their whole pitch now points straight at AI and robots. The tagline literally reads, AI thinks, robots act, XYO proves. So it's becoming a truth machine for the physical world. Then IOTA, that's settlement, machine payments. And I've got to be straight with you, because precision is our whole thing. IOTA rebuilt itself from the ground up, and for years its headline was feeless. These days, it's near feeless. There's a small gas cost now. Small, but if I let it slide, someone in the comments would rightly catch me. What's real is their flag in the ground, the first regulated foundation of its kind in Abu Dhabi, and live product passports with Siemens. Serious, boring, institutional, in the good way. And then Constellation. And this one, AM, is for you specifically. You wrote DAG, Constellation's DOR, and I love it because there's a great little correction hiding in there. DOR isn't an acronym. It's not Data Oracle Runtime or anything technical. DOR is a company Constellation bought back in 2021. And what they make is the most tangible thing in this entire video. Little peel and stick sensors that count foot traffic. No cameras, no creepy tracking. You stick one on a wall, it counts the people walking past, writes that on chain, and pays you for the data. They're in airports, malls, over 150 US Army museums. That right there is the economy of things, sitting on a wall, quietly earning. Okay, now the 2 nobody's really covered properly, and this is where it gets good. First, IoTeX. If XYO is where and IOTA is settlement, IoTeX is the who, identity for machines. And I want to talk about the founder for a second, because his resume is kind of ridiculous, and almost nobody brings it up. Rowland Chai, PhD in cryptography. Before crypto, he was a founding engineer on Google Cloud's load balancer, the thing that keeps Google from falling over. And then he ran crypto research and development at Uber, building the security guts of the whole company. So this isn't a marketing guy who found blockchain. It's a security engineer who looked at billions of devices and thought, these need identities and wallets. And that's exactly what IoTeX built. Their core piece is called IOID. And here's the clever bit. It turns a device's identity into an NFT that can actually hold a wallet. So the machine doesn't just have an ID, it has an account. It can hold money, it can pay. That's the literal bridge from Internet of Things to economy of things. And here's my favorite nugget in the whole video. That explorer everyone uses to track DPIN projects, DPIN scan, IoTeX built it. They quietly made the map the whole sector, including their rivals, navigates by. That's a flex. One more mechanism because it's smart. Every time a new device joins, it burns some of their token. So real-world adoption actually shrinks the supply. Growth and scarcity, same lever. Now, I promised you honesty, so here it is. IoTeX has probably the most complete toolkit of any of these five. What it doesn't have yet is scale. The network's still pretty concentrated and adoption is early. It's real, it's just early. Not vaporware, early. And there's a difference. Which brings us to the last one. And honestly, the project that owns this phrase more than anybody. PEAQ. If the others each grabbed one floor, PEAQ is trying to be the whole building. The layer one all the machine apps live on. It's out of Germany, 3 founders, Till Windler, Leonard Dorlochter, and Max Stake. And here's the part I like. They didn't start in crypto hype. Back in 2017, they were running real industrial pilots with names like Audi, NTT, even Gucci, Enterprise Plumbing. Then they launched their main network in late 2024, built on the same tech stack that powers Polkadot. And what they offer is a full starter kit for machines, an ID system, a payment system, access control, and this thing they call machine DeFi, where a device can own itself, go earn, and pay back its own loan. And their ecosystem is the busiest of the bunch. Something like 60 DPIN projects across more than 20 industries, all building on PEAQ, a noise mapping app with over 1 million users, mapping tools, energy grids, robots. But, and this is the honest part, you've got to read the fine print. PEAQ will tell you it has millions of machines onboarded. And on their own homepage, the wording actually says machines and humans. Because a lot of those machines are phones, software nodes, people running an app. And those slick videos of a robot paying for its own electricity, most were simulations, demos, not a robot doing it on a real street corner just yet. Now, I'm not saying that to knock them. The infrastructure is real and it's live. I'm saying it because the vision is running ahead of the deployment, and you deserve to know which is which. And that gap, that is the whole DPIN story in one project. So step back with me, because this is where it clicks. Look at what we've got. XYO proves where a machine is. IoTeX proves who it is. Constellation proves its data is true. IOTA lets it get paid. And PEAQ gives it a home to run on. Where, who, truth, settlement, host. That is not 5 companies clawing at each other over one prize. That's a stack. 5 layers of the same machine. And the reason all of this is heating up right now, in 2026, has a name. And the name is AI. Because the second you've got AI agents and actual robots meant to go do things in the physical world, all 4 of those questions stop being abstract fast. A robot that can't prove where it is, or who it is, or that it's telling the truth, or that can't hold its own money. That robot can't be trusted with anything real. Even NVIDIA's whole 2026 pitch has shifted towards selling the AI worker, not just the chip. The machines are coming, and these are the rails they'd run on. But here's the honest scorecard, because that's the whole reason this channel exists. Every one of these 5 is early. The narratives are gorgeous, and the deployed numbers are always smaller than the marketing. Across all of them, adoption is the real gate, not the technology. So the mistake would be to fall in love with the pitch, judge the architecture, and judge the real devices out there earning, not the candles on a price chart. So AM, back to your question. You said you'd rather have a stake in all of it than pick one winner out of the pile. And honestly, your instinct is the smartest thing in this whole conversation, because it is a stack. These pieces need each other way more than they compete. But you also asked which ones I hold and which I prefer, and you know how I answer that. I don't. That's not what we do here. No picks, no price targets. I hand you the map, you walk it yourself. And here's the takeaway you can use today. You don't have to trust anyone's marketing on this, mine included. You can watch the machine economy get built in real time. That Explorer IoTeX built DPIN scan shows you live device counts, and a site called DPIN Pulse shows you the real revenue these networks actually pull in. So track two things: how many devices are really online, and how much real money is actually flowing. Deployed devices and real revenue. That is the tell between a machine economy and a machine story. If this is the kind of breakdown you're here for, the map, not the hype, go ahead and subscribe, because that is the entire job here. This is information in motion. And a huge thank you to AM for what might genuinely be the best question anybody sent in all month. I'll see you in the next one.